So we're officially halfway through, which is insane to think about, up to module 5, which is brand strategy blueprint. Now, the idea of this module is to teach you how to come up with endless content ideas and topics so that when you're posting, when you're marketing, when you're putting content out there, it is aligned to your brand and your business goals. Who here has ever sat there and gone, oh crap, what do I post about now? And then ended up getting really overwhelmed and then just putting up a photo, hoping for the best, and then not really getting results. And then all of a sudden, maybe you get this big motivational burst of ideas. And then the next week, you've got none. Because this is a very common cycle or pattern that happens when it comes to marketing. And if you don't plan out your content, the reality is you will be more susceptible to that burnout. Because you're always in such a creative mode. You're trying to think, oh, I need to be creative. I need to create this start to finish. And later on, we'll talk about batch creating your content and stuff towards the end of the course. But the idea here is with this brand strategy blueprint, when you're in your zone and you've got those creative ideas coming through, this is when you can sit down and basically map out a month, 3 months, as long as you want in advance. So the outcomes of this module is to learn how to develop a clear and effective content strategy that aligns with your salon's brand and goals, is to explore how to identify your branding and content pillars, and then lastly, develop a plan to create purposeful content that supports your values and your mission. So right now, you're probably posting countless photos of your work or before and afters. You may be having no idea what to post about each day. Maybe you get a little bit inconsistent with the themes throughout your content. You find that your content just doesn't stand out. And as a result of all these things, you haven't really built a strong relationship with your audience. Now, the solution is this module. It's giving you clarity on what branding and content pillars are. It helps you map out all your ideas and then utilize those topics in your content calendar. And the idea here is that we work together to create content, to create a know, like, and trust, which we'll be diving deeper into today, so that you build this relationship with them and it is consistent. Consistency is key when it comes to marketing. And for all of you, you would have by now had a bit more of an idea of what are your brand values? What are the things your brand stands for? What are the services you offer? Now, who here has actually heard of the know, like, trust funnel? More? So to give you a bit of an idea, who here has gone on a date before? I think we've all probably gone on a date. And sometimes you might have some guy or girl, whatever it is these days, that you meet and they're just talking all about themselves. You know, they won't shut up. I remember going on a date with a guy. We sat down. We were actually at this really nice restaurant and it was all fine dining. And all of a sudden I just got, what's the modern day term? The ick, or you were just turned off. You're like, nah, all he did was talk about himself. He was so good at this. He made this much money. He had this career. He goes out and drives this car. And from the get-go, I was like, this is too much. I couldn't get out there fast enough, honestly. And then I've been on other dates with other guys and I've gotten to know a bit about what they're like. And you know, they seem like a decent guy. And then I start to have these conversations and we connect over shared values or interests or hobbies. And then all of a sudden I've gone from, okay, well, now I know who they are. I'm actually starting to like the type of person they are because I relate or resonate with them. And as we're getting to know more about each other and we're having these deeper conversations and connecting more, I've started to develop a sense of trust. And as time goes on, with this sense of trust, now I'm like, okay, do I see this going somewhere further? Or maybe just not the right people for each other. And the reason why I'm comparing dating to the know, like, trust funnel is that with your audience, you need to develop a relationship with them. And I'm not sure if you've ever heard of cold leads and hot leads and things like that. But if you're diving straight into the deep end and you're like, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, I'm the best. It's just going to be like that first guy. You'll be like, see ya. I never want to speak to you again. That is just too much. You are not for me. But the idea of this know, like, trust funnel is that you are learning to nurture and grow a relationship with your audience. The more you nurture a relationship, the stronger that bond is, the more likely they're going to want to stay with you. They're also going to be a long-term loyal customer. They're going to talk well about you to their friends. This is why I want you to start thinking about using this. Even if you look at your content and you're like, okay, well, do people know who I am? Maybe, maybe not. Do they like you? I don't know. Let's have a look at your engagement. Do they trust you? Well, how many bookings have you been getting? And I'll have a bit more of an in-depth conversation about how you can pinpoint where you might be having some issues or what content to focus on. So this is the idea here. Know, like, and trust. It's a funnel. We know how a funnel works. You're going to have a big group of people here and then a smaller group as it moves down. And then towards the end, the bottom is going to filter out exactly who is meant for you. And that's where the trust comes. And then after you've done all of these things, you're going to have some level of conversion, right? The idea is that people may know you. Think about a big brand, a Salon brand, let's say, I'm just trying to think of one, Kevin Murphy. Everyone knows Kevin Murphy. People know them, but then some people might like it and other people won't. So then all of a sudden you've just lost a few potential customers. And then as they're talking about, their ingredients, their products that they're releasing, the kind of ambassadors they have, the results they've been able to get for people, out of that like stage, some people will then develop a strong sense of trust. And then from that trust, a small portion of them will then filter down even more and purchase. So in terms of this, when it's in the no stage, usually cold audience comes across your page searching for keywords that are in your bio. So in one of the weeks, we do search engine optimization and we talk about how you can increase your chances of showing up in different areas of social media. Your content getting shared. So, when someone shares your story or your reel has gotten a few shares private, maybe it's on other people's stories, wherever it may be. That's what I mean by content getting shared. Maybe it's family or friends that figure out who you are, or the Reels page or suggested for you in your feed. So this is when you're popping up in different areas online and people are starting to get to know who you are. You've just come into their awareness. The next stage is like. So this is the cold audience now filtering out into a warm audience, and they're engaging with your content. They're liking it, they're commenting, saving or sharing. Maybe they're having a little bit of a conversation or replying to your stories here and there. But then we move down into the trust stage, where now you've got a few people that are hot. They're responding to your stories. They're chatting with you in the DMs. They want to work with you. They're asking you questions and they're ready to buy your products or services. All of this making sense so far? Are there any questions at this stage? We good to carry on? Awesome. So then what does all of this mean? What type of content are we producing to develop a stronger relationship with our audience? I'm going to give you access to this so you can print it out, you can refer back to it. But in the know stage, people want to know, what do you do? How you do it? What's your unique selling point? Who you help? Why you exist? Your mission. So remember how we did a lot of that brand content in week 1? We got you to talk about your values. We got to talk about your purpose, your mission, all those things. This ties in really nicely with no. Because if you think about it and you're always posting photos of your work and you're just saying book in, book now, that kind of stuff, people, they will know you offer that service, but they're not going to necessarily connect with your brand on that deeper level. And so by sharing that essential brand information with people, they're going to develop more of a liking towards you. So then as we move into like, this is when you might dive a bit deeper into your values, belief system. So you might have certain beliefs around the industry, you might have beliefs around, the products and services you're using. That's what I mean by beliefs. Behind the scenes of your business. How damn nosy are people these days? Like, I'm sorry, we all know that you're a beauty people, but sometimes people are like, oh, she went to the gym, she went to this restaurant, she has a puppy. All of a sudden, people are going to start to like you when they see that behind the scenes because it's more personal. Shows your business has character. It also shows you have character, and people buy from people. I don't know if I've said this in this call, but I know I've said it to people before. When I started out in lashes, I knew I was a shocking lash tech starting out. I think who just picks up lashes and is incredible? Maybe there are people, but it wasn't me. I was slow with my sets. I knew that I definitely could have had them a lot more fuller, but I was struggling. And I still had people coming back to me. And that's because they liked who I was. They liked the conversations we had. They valued that time together. And that's because I was a human. Now, in saying that, not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay. The right people will stay 100%. And just know that what I'm telling you now, it will relate to followers as well. Don't get butthurt when someone unfollows you. Thank the Lord, because if they don't like you, they don't have to follow you. And you're not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. But the people who do like you, they will stay. They will support you. Now, relatable memes. There is no better way to showcase your personality than sharing a funny meme or a reel or TikTok, whatever it is. Your weekend adventures. What do you get up to on your weekends? You don't have to vlog the entire weekend, but maybe you've got an exciting event coming up, or maybe something funny happened in the shops and you're like, oh, I'm going to share this. Like, that's how you show your human side. People are going to develop more of a sense of like towards you. Something I do, and I've seen a few of you also doing this and tagging me, which I'm very appreciative of, is, your daily tasks. What's going on there? What does it look like in the life of this business owner? Are there any exciting projects you have coming up that you want to share with people? Holidays skyrocket engagement. People love seeing holidays. If you're ever on a holiday, make sure you put a few stories up, share your journey. Don't sit on your phone the entire time, but it's a great way to boost engagement. Pets. Oh my gosh, who hasn't posted a photo of a pet and gotten a few heart reacts or DMs? I don't know anyone that doesn't get engagement from posting pets. And then milestones. What are some achievements you've accomplished? What are some things that you've reached, whether it's a business birthday, whether it's a personal win? Sharing those things, all of that creates a stronger element of liking towards someone. Now, the next stage is trust. So if you were thinking, okay, I need to develop trust with these people, they know who I am, they like what I do, they like what I'm about. How do you develop trust? Well, it looks like testimonials, screenshot text message from clients. If you've won any awards, when you're giving free value, when you're educating people, when you've got some client success stories, when you're showcasing more about your method, your strategy, why you choose to do things the way you do. If you've got any articles, collaborations, all of those things, they're all about creating social credibility and proof of what you do, who you help, how good you are at what you do. Because there's all well and good me saying, I'm really good at this. But it's like, what evidence or proof have you got to back up and support those claims? Is everyone kind of understanding how the know, like, trust factor fits in with your marketing? Have we got any questions about anything at this stage? All right. So moving on to the next thing is, if you want to understand where your social media marketing strategy is lacking, it all starts by understanding this simple yet fundamental funnel. So let's say your audience aren't buying from you. They may not know enough about you to make a decision to purchase, or they still lack trust towards you. So if you're not getting many new clients or customers, you're like, if they don't even know who you are or they like you, they're definitely going to not be ready to buy from you. But I would be looking at the trust stage. How much have I developed a sense of trust with them? And then, like I just showed you in the last slide, I'd be looking at, okay, well, how do I develop trust? Oh, these pieces of content, they're ideas that I could start posting about to develop more trust with them. You may find people are engaging with your content, but they're just not buying. Maybe you're getting, comments and tags and all these other things, and you're just sitting there and you're like, what's going on? Well, maybe they know what product or service you offer, but they don't see the value in it or what makes it different from everyone else. Maybe you're finding your brand awareness isn't growing. So you're not getting new followers. You're not really getting much reach on your content. Well, the reason behind that is maybe you're not engaging with new people. People coming across your page, they don't have a clear understanding of what you do, or they don't really see the benefit of following you. And then if you have your audience not engaging with you, maybe your content isn't resonating with your audience, or you're lacking a clear call to action to engage. So by understanding this funnel and looking at what type of content to put out, you can kind of reverse engineer it and think, okay, well, if this is the problem, why may this be? Who here's put up a post and it's flopped and you take it really personally and you're just like, oh, they mustn't like me, and it is easy. You do take it personally because you put all this effort in and then you're just like, crap, I mustn't be that good. Why do I even bother? I've had this conversation with myself a few times and clients. But the thing is, marketing is about analyzing, what worked well, what didn't work. And when you can look at these problems and make it a bit more of a rational decision over an emotional decision, you can see, okay, this is where I've gone wrong and this is what I can focus on moving forward. And so when your content does flop, when it doesn't go the way you'd hoped, don't take it personally. Use it as a time to reflect and then use this information you have just been taught now to think about, okay, well, what are the next steps for me? So welcome to the world of branding pillars. Branding pillars will help you stay aligned to, well, I guess consistent is a better word, and aligned to your brand when it comes to your marketing in anything. So they are the core elements that define your brand's identity and values. So what you are, who you are, what you stand for. They serve as the foundational principles that guide your messaging and content strategy, ensuring that your communication remains consistent, relevant, and aligned with your business objectives. So I've just given some examples here. Let's say my brand pillar was hair extensions. Topics that could come off hair extensions may be aftercare, cleaning, maintenance, aftercare products, styling tips. If I was having hairstyling as my branding pillar, I may have cuts, length, updos, curling techniques. If I had empowerment as a branding pillar, I might speak about self-care, self-love, embrace natural beauty, looking after your natural hair. So the idea here is look at your brand values and your brand identity, and what are some of those key principles that you want to speak about or you can draw ideas from for your content topics. So you want them to be quite broad. Because if I said, if aftercare, hair extensions aftercare was one of my branding pillars, I may find that there's only so much content I can create about that. But if it's hair extensions, I know it's a bigger umbrella term and there's a lot of different ideas I can draw from. Is this making sense? So branding pillars is one thing I want you to identify and look at and map out. I'll show you how to do a content map after, but first we're going to talk about content pillars. So content pillars differ from branding pillars because these are the foundational themes that will structure your brand's communication strategy. So look, I put 3 to 5 because I don't want you to sit here and think I have to do 15. You want a level of consistency and you want a bit of variance. So choose what works for you. If there's a little bit more that you want to add in, go for it. If there's a little bit less, that's also okay. This is your brand. This is your decision. So what we want to do is think about, let's say I've got hair extensions like I was saying before, and my topic was hair extensions aftercare. Now, just by having that one branding pillar, I could pretty much create 5 to 20 different pieces of content if I use different content pillars. And what I've done here is I've given you some examples of different content pillars and a short explanation of what they are. And if you find any really capturing your eye and you're like, that's the type of format of content I want to be producing, jot them down. This is just off the bat. You can analyze this later. You're going to have access to this. But if some just stand out to you, I want you to write it down. Put it in the chat even. So the first one is industry insights and research. What you want to do is share data-driven insights, research findings, and statistics that establish your brand as an authority in your field. So the hair extensions aftercare, this might be, if I was doing an industry insights and research product, it might be new products that are coming to the field. It might be the percentage of brands or something like that that backs up and positions myself as an expert. You've got lifestyle content. So connecting with your audience on a personal level by sharing content related to your brand's lifestyle and values. You've got education. So this is a very common one. If you don't have education in your content pillars, I would highly recommend that this is one you definitely include. But this is sharing informative and valuable content that educates your audience about relevant topics, industry trends, useful tips. You've got entertainment and humor. So this is infusing your brand with humor, memes, or entertaining content that resonates with your target audience's interests. You've got behind the scenes. So offering a glimpse into your salon's culture, processes, daily operations, building a personal connection with your audience. You may choose a product or service spotlight. So showcase your offerings, highlight their features, benefits, and uses, addressing your audience's potential questions or concerns. You've got customer stories and testimonials. So sharing success stories, case studies, testimonials from satisfied customers, emphasizing the impact of your products or services. You've got industry news and updates. So keeping your audience informed about the latest news, developments, and innovations in your industry. Got inspirational content. Hashtag live, laugh, love. Provide motivational quotes, stories, or anecdotes that resonate with your brand's values and inspire your audience. You might like to do some tutorials and how-to guides. So this is creating step-by-step guides or video tutorials that demonstrate how to use your products or achieve certain goals. You might have some frequently asked questions and problem solving. So addressing common questions, concerns, and challenges your audience might have, offering solutions and building credibility. Another content pillar may be community engagement. So encourage interaction by running polls, quizzes, and discussions to involve your audience in decision-making and get some feedback. You may have guest features or collaborations, so inviting guest experts or influencers to share their insights, bring fresh perspectives to your content. You may share personal stories, so share authentic anecdotes and experiences that humanize your brand and create relatability. Just to touch on this little bit of a side topic, the content has been performing really, really well for me and a lot of people on Instagram that are running businesses is storytelling. Did anyone see my post about my dad and the bowling alley and all of that? I've pinned it to the top. That post got a huge amount of engagement. And I was thinking, oh, okay, storytelling is it. I've been scrolling through all my content and doing some research on what performed the most. And don't get me wrong, some of the here's 10 tips to help you do this, or here's 5 actionable steps you can take today, my top secrets, those kind of things, they do well. But what does even better is my personal stories. And you know what's funny? We sit here and we go, oh, crap, that Salon owner, she just copied my 5 tips for retaining your eyelashes better, or, you know, this kind of how to prepare for your appointment, right? Everyone can copy that. But when it's your personal stories or your personal experiences and you're putting that into writing, no one can copy that. And if they do, that's kind of messed up because they didn't even live that. So when you have something come to mind, I would encourage you, is there a story here? What was the lessons I learned from my experience? What's the description of what happened? What were the emotions I was feeling? And write some content based around that. So I like to do a nice little header with one sentence or a paraphrase lead in, and then I do a short description. I don't have to try and make it a whole essay, but it's like short, sharp, concise, to the point, delivers value, but also shares a story that's personal to me. Highly recommend trying personal stories. So those are some ideas. Probably a little bit overwhelming if you're thinking, okay, crap, what do I need to do? How does it all work together? Before we dive deep into mapping out all your content, I'm going to give you an example. Now you can actually use this for any service because I've structured it that way. So all you need to do is insert the service you're offering or the industry you're in. But basically, the idea here is you will create a content map. You will have branches coming off the bit in the middle, which might say your brand name or your content ideas. And as it branches off from the middle, we've got your different branding pillars. And then coming off your branding pillars are your content pillars. And then coming off your content pillars are your ideas. So what I've done is I've taken a branding pillar here. So this is just one section. You'll have multiple branding pillars. So it says service here. Insert whatever service it is you're offering. This is just an example. Now, this branding pillar, it could be anything. It could be empowerment. It could be lash extensions. It could be whatever you want it to be. But for the sake of this, because I know we all offer services, I've made it super relevant. So my branding pillar is service. And I decided to use inspire, attract as one of my content pillars. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, what is something that would inspire or attract people about this service I'm offering? Well, it could be a client success story. It may be a before and after transformation. You could come up with way more ideas than that, but I'm just trying to keep it simple for us. And then I've thought, okay, well, what's another content pillar that is aligned to my brand? I'm thinking personal authority. So how could I create some authority? I show my personal side here. All right, well, I'm going to show a day in the life of a beautician, a lash tech, a cosmetic tattoo artist, a skin therapist, whatever you are, show a day in the life. If I wanted to create some more so authority here, I may have 2 different products or 2 different brands, and you can talk about your experience using brand 1 versus brand 2 and why you chose that brand, why you prefer one over the other. Then I've also got my secret strategy behind achieving a specific result. So then this way you're talking a bit more about, okay, well, what is it you do differently? You position yourself as an expert, and you're also building a lot more trust too. I decided, okay, I'm going to do some stuff on entertainment because I need to develop a relationship with my audience. I want them to know if they're sitting down with me for a couple hours, they're going to like my sense of humor or they're going to like hanging out with me. So I thought, all right, well, you could create a funny, relatable reel for clients, maybe use a trending audio or a trending sound or something like that. Maybe you've got a reel that showcases your personality. You could put something up on your stories that will also showcase your personality. Maybe it's how you set your salon up for the day. And then promotional. Now, instead of being like, buy my sale, get this offer, have this discount, you can promote your services in other ways. So an example might be 5 benefits of getting this service or this particular style, whatever it is. Or on the inverse side, you might go products or habits you can ditch after getting this service. So, you know, if you get nails, you don't have to put on those terrible stick-on nails from Kmart for $10. You got nice ones. If you've got eyelash extensions, you don't have to put on the dreaded fake lashes and stuff up the lash glue every time and the clumpy mascara. Like, get really creative. Paint that picture for them. Community. So if I wanted to build a sense of community around one of the services I offered, I might create a daily, weekly, or monthly mini series. So what this may look like is, I'll be completely honest with you guys. I tried to start 30 ways to grow your clientele as reels, and I think I got up to about day 13, and then I just lost my mojo and never completed it. But that was a mini series, and it actually worked really well. I should finish it, to be honest with you, but it's been way too many months. The idea of a daily, a weekly, or monthly mini series is people are engaged. They want to keep coming back for more. You know, I've done it before. I get stuck in a scroll hole and someone's done a mini series and they're like, come back for part 2, see more in part 3. And all of a sudden you're going, instead of giving them all 10 tips, just give them 1 each day or each week. And then your call to action should allude to the next video and give like some little hints, drops, teasers of what to expect next. So they want to continue on that journey with you. They're really great for building engagement. Discuss a hot industry topic or trend. You know, when there's some viral trends or products and things that come out, like, have a conversation about it. What are your thoughts? Is something fresh to the market? I remember, I think I was running my salon and those mermaid brows came out and everyone was doing them. And I was like, what the hell? Or when brow lamination just came out, or lash Botox. What the hell is this lash Botox? Why is it Botox? Like, are we injecting ourselves in like our lashes? Like, what's going on there? Like, have that conversation. What are your thoughts? Get the community involved. Drop their thoughts below. Really great way to develop that, I guess, know and like. So they know what the trend is, but they also figure out, oh, do they like it? Do they like you? Do they Do they agree with you? Do they disagree? I don't know. Ask your audience what they would like to see next in your business. I just want to say, I've had a lot of conversations with people in my time coaching about, I'm going to add this service and I'm going to add this product and I'm going to sell this and this and this and this and this. And some people have already gone and done it and then they don't get the sales. It just doesn't work out the way they wanted. And it's because they never did market research. They just thought, oh yeah, I like this, I'll do this. Yeah, people will like it. And I'm not saying do things that you don't like just because you want to make money. I'm saying if there's something that you're considering bringing on board into your business, utilize the audience you have and ask them, what is their opinion? Are they interested? There's no point bringing in a new service or product if no one really wants it. Save you a lot of time and money and heartache if you just ask the question and you get the feedback first. Next one, education. So maybe you debunk a common myth about a service or your industry. Maybe you talk about getting the best result or maintenance, retention, something like that from your service. Maybe it's just educating people on like what it is you're offering so they can understand which style service is best for them. How are we feeling about this layout and coming up with ideas? Is this something that you think you can take away and implement in your business today? Has this made it sound easier for you? Is it giving you structure? Yep. So, like I said, this is just one branding pillar. Now, I don't want to confuse you too much, but this is like a little side note for if you think, okay, well, I've come up with a lot of ideas, and then you're thinking, oh, what do I do now? There are so many different things you can create. So, for example, if you said my secret strategy, oh, actually, no, maybe what's another one I could do? How I set my salon up for the day. Let's say that's a topic, right? Now, we've done that under entertainment, but you could still do how I set my salon up for the day as education. And you might talk about your hygiene. You might talk about why you use this pillow, why you put these products out, why you clean this, whatever it may be. If you did an inspire, attract, that might actually overlay with entertainment. You know, if you had a nice photo, like you can repurpose and create content in different ways. If I were to just think off the top of my head, because these are I tried to keep them quite broad so it'd work for any service, but let's say I had a certain product and it might be lash cleanser. I could create a post through all of these about lash cleanser. So an inspire, attract lash cleanser post might just look like a beautiful photo of it and it's got your bougie label on it and it's all personalized and you're just saying lash cleansers are back in stock, something like that. If I wanted to do a personal authority post about lash cleanser, it might be, this is why we've got this formula because I believe in this and I've used these different brands and I decided that this was the one I liked the most and it gets my clients the best results. If you wanted to do an entertaining post about lash cleanser, you could, I don't know, get something funny, do a little how not to clean your lashes versus how to clean your lashes, that kind of stuff. If it was promotional, it may be promoting your service in the lash cleanser in some way. You know, for each new service or full set, you will get a mini lash cleanser included. Community, something funny that your community can relate to. When you're cleansing your lashes and it goes in your eyes, that also might be entertaining too. You will find that these things overlap and that's okay. If you wanted an educational thing, it might be, okay, well, how to properly cleanse your eyelash extensions and like why you would use a brush, not just your finger and just getting in there. So I trust that makes sense. Now we're going to look at how to create your content mind map. So like I was trying to explain before, and this is a way better visual representation than me going here, branch here, branch here, and branch here. So you can put your content ideas in the middle, your brand name, whatever suits you. And then you'll branch off and have each one of your branding pillars coming off. And then you'll have content pillars coming off for each branding pillar, and then your topics. Now, depending on how creative you are and how many ideas you come up with, you might actually choose to do lots of these on like one A4 piece of paper because you might run out of space. But if you've got a big whiteboard, anyone who's successful has a whiteboard. No, I'm just kidding. Whiteboards help though with planning. They're a lot bigger. I find that that's awesome to have, and you can just map it all out. And then once you've got all these ideas here, you just pop them into a content calendar. And you'll find that all of a sudden, just you sitting down and just branching off all these content pillars, you actually easily have 1 month of content, easily. When I sat down and done this, I've come up with so many ideas that I've usually planned 3 months of content in advance. And so what you can do is just go, okay, well, what are my goals right now? Is it that I'm trying to promote something? Well, I might take a few more of the promotional ones and plan that out for that week. So once you've got all these ideas, it's also important to think about what your business goals are. So are you launching a new product or service? Well, if you're in that launch phase, you're obviously going to want to focus a little bit more on pushing promotional posts around that launch. If you are in a stage where you're trying to build your engagement, you might be going, okay, well, I'm going to post a little bit more education, entertainment, personal. So there's no perfect right way or wrong way or anything like that. You do need to trial and test and see what works for you, and you're all going to have different business goals. So when you're thinking about, okay, well, what is the purpose? What's the outcome that I'm looking for right now? Structure and, I guess, schedule or plan your content around those goals. So this week's homework isn't going to be as hard as trying to write captions. It's not, because like I've just given you a bunch of ideas, and I'm sure that after a few things I've said, maybe you've got some drop-ins, maybe some things are coming up for you and you're like, cool, I'm going to implement that. Or, oh, wow, why didn't I think of posting something like that? Sammy, you're amazing. You're the smartest person I know. My life has now been changed. Thank you. You're welcome. So the first thing you want to do is identify what your branding pillars are. What are the things you stand for? What are your values? I honestly, like I said, when it comes down to branding and content pillars, I would like to see that you at least have 3 to 5, but I don't want to see that you have 20. It's too many. Remember, the idea is to create consistency across the themes you have. So just be aware of that. Identify your content pillars. Now, I gave you a bunch of ideas, a lot of different content pillars. And what I want you to think of, what are the main ones that I want to be delivering? Because you might have, out of that list of, I don't know how many there were, maybe 15 or 20, that you go, oh, I actually just want to do a post about this. That's okay. But the idea is that those content pillars are being delivered consistently each week, and same with your branding pillars. Then what I want you to do is create a content map and map out your ideas. So do your big brainstorm. Go to Officeworks, get your whiteboard, write out, plan out, do it all. And then once you've got all your ideas and you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, I'm amazing, my life makes so much more sense now, then I want you to schedule these topics into your content calendar. If you don't have a content calendar, just go on Canva